Nathan Fileti with your daily Ag Tech dog walk on this lovely 6th of October. I think that's the date. Out a little earlier this morning as, yeah, kids get out, get going, everyone's efficient. That's how it goes. But today, I want to talk about a little bit of an article. I actually wrote a thing which will repost later on my main feed on an article I read yesterday from Ben Voss. He's kind of got all this background in equipment and ag equipment, other equipment too, but mainly ag equipment. He's out of Canada, but understands basically the global trends and where everything's going. So he just goes into more detail of how all this goes and how it kind of works, especially in a downturn, with supply, demand, materials, all that stuff. In that, really, the OEMs and the equipment dealers that they serve are in a tricky pickle right now. And I'm not going to get into the whole spiel about why. I think everyone can kind of understand. But he gets into detail of like the specifics, which is very interesting. As for me, I looked at it and was like, okay, there's a story to tell around ag tech with what he's talking about, and I'm seeing it just before I even read this, to an extent, probably actually more so, from my Friday little video extending into how Canada is changing some things. Overall, though, what the basic message of the article is, OEMs are going to have a tough time making money and making things to sell, and dealers are as well beyond their normal service and all that. So really, it's kind of keep parts up, keep service up at dealers, because people are going to keep their equipment longer. They're going to need more parts to fix things because they're not going to get new as much, because the whole financial dynamics, everything just don't really click the way they think or hope it would have been. There's a lot of oversupply in equipment, so it's actually in a sense good for farmers. Equipment prices used is down, of course, maintenance and service is up, all that fun stuff. Anyways, I'll brief on where I think there's potential for ag technology to fill the gap. So in general, dealers and OEMs are going to be looking for stuff to do for cheaper, because building equipment and maintaining it and selling it is very expensive and it's intense. They still need to do it to an extent because there are large farms that, other parts of the world and whatnot, or have the right situations where they can do it. But for a lot of the market, especially here and in bridging into Canada to an extent too, the dealers have a unique opportunity, and so do the OEMs. Now, they're already doing it to some extent with ag technology, with what the OEMs have put out. Of course, Deere is kind of the king of this, and AGCO and CNH are trying to catch up in their own respective ways. They've made giant deals to do it, from AGCO grabbing Trimble to CNH buying Raven, and all their, disparate other kind of acquisitions. Though it takes some time to get that all moving and shaking. But because there's going to be less and less, equipment to really deal with, and that whole process, they can spend right now a little more time not only on R&D around tech and how that involves with the OEMs, but upgrades to things. Let's upgrade the monitors here, better guidance. Oh, here's these sensors that we have. But really, dealers can hone in on service, not just of equipment, but of tech itself, and even maybe getting into more data related items. The systems of the OEMs they support have these things or are building these things. Now is the time for the OEMs and the dealers to really hone in on it, because they're not as distracted. buy all the equipment. They can get focused on something that literally has less capital expenditures. And software, for example, it's kind of copy and paste. There's no all these other things. There is money that needs to be spent to keep it up and all that and build it, and that can be very expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of it's an easier thing to kind of handle in the sense of the digital side. But they haven't really done it as much. Some have dabbled when all the craze and money was coming in the tech world. They were trying, and most kind of just reverted back to say, oh, we're just going to handle equipment. Well, now is a perfect time to say, okay, we can actually push these things more. They were built in the first place to save with efficiencies and ROI. It's just now they can tell the story more. Their focus can be on it. And I think if the equipment people out there are smart, they would double down on it and go full bore and unlock the potential, work harder at it as they sell in the marketing and all that, and push at it a little harder. Now's a great time to do that. So it's a lot more intricacies to all of that. Maybe I'll make it a theme this week, maybe not. I'm not sure yet, but there's more to be talked about. I have a good idea of how it can all play out. So happy to share that advice as needed. But that's it for today. More on this later, probably. And well, from my resend of that article, yeah, you'll see it a little later. Talk to you later, guys.